Right, Treasurer's report. Now, unfortunately, as our finance officer, it's called Treasurer, all sorts of titles, Joanna Warford did a wonderful job for us, as you heard from Louise. She's on holiday for a few days, so couldn't make it today. But the summary accounts are published in the annual report for everybody to see. But also you've got the formal accounts and financial statements are with the members on the front, and they were emailed to them as well. So hopefully they're all thoroughly digested and I've got lots of questions. Right, I'll just read her written report which she's provided. The summary of the accounts are on page 10 of the annual report. That's a lovely glossy brochure. And I'll do a quick plug and thank you to Steve and to Tom they've done a fantastic job again. Please take copies. We've got lots of copies out. Take them back, share them with friends and neighbours. We continue to be grateful to God for his provision for the Food Hub in terms of food donations, finances and volunteers. The accounts record the financial donations and an estimate of the value of food donated, but do not include an estimate of the time donated by so many people. That's an interesting point. One of the things that the government and Charity Commission do like every so often is an estimate of how many hours your volunteers are putting in. I also volunteer for Abbeyfield. Pick plug for Abbeyfield, anybody? Fantastic organisation. There are vacancies in the sheltered house in number 2. Sorry, advert there. For any older people you feel who don't want to live alone anymore. But one of the things government's doing, so we may have to go around and start asking our volunteers how many hours a week they put in. I think it's coming through the Charity Commission and government regulation. They want to know how many hours the volunteers are putting in. So anybody else who does stuff, be warned. Okay, in overall, the summary, we received more income than was needed to run the Food Hub during the year, so we've added to our reserves. This means we're in a good place to support those who will be badly affected by the continuing cost of living crisis. The trustees have also been able to increase support of our partner organisations through monthly grants. And Sam was one of them, actually coming today, Mr. Francis. We've also, later on, we've got Emma and her colleague from the Vine Food Bank up at New Addington. We also, as you know, donate and support Old Lodge Lane, which have a very close connection with their food stock. We also support Croydon Refugee Day Centre. These are just financial ones. We've also been supporting a number of years an organisation called Happy Baby Community up in Thornton Heath. They deal with refugee mums who come in, asylum seeker mums who come in with nothing, and so they've suddenly got a newborn baby to deal with, or they're arrived pregnant, very young children. So they're an organisation that was partly kicked off and supported by the local Quakers, and we've been supporting them for a number of years, and they meet up in Thornton Heath and Parkmore Road. And we also found some money to help another food bank in Thornton Heath buy a new commercial sized fridge. That was £1,500 they haven't got, so we gave that to them. Manager donations from individuals did decrease compared to the previous year. This was expected as the unprecedented circumstances of COVID prompted unusual levels of giving. So I think you all agree that it was those of us who were volunteering in the early days of COVID were really, really grateful for the amount of food that came in. It was, a lot of people said, oh no, we were really worried, would we get the food? But I think some of us believe that God will provide, and God opened the storehouses, and we were overflowing. Some of it wasn't always appropriate, but on the whole, it was fantastic. Money donations have come in. I mean, typically a young lad that Steve has been with, I've got his name now, the young lad does the triathlon for us. What's his name?
Cheyenne.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's the second year running now. He's done it again this year. He organised a little triathlon this year with some friends as well. And they raise several £1,000s each year, don't they? A couple of £1,000s. So we have donations from people like that. It's absolutely fantastic support we get. And this enables us to share with others. We have been very blessed with reserves. And yes, you look at the figure and they think, gosh, that's a lot of money in the bank. But we're there, I think, with this storm that's maybe coming. Perhaps it's coming now, it may not be so bad, who knows. But we want to be able to support those around us and not just ourselves in this part of the borough. We do seek to keep our food running costs to a minimum. There's been an increase in expenditure for room hire, which we paid to PWRC, the exclusive use of room 2 and occasional use of room 1. Now this is something we haven't done in previous years, but during COVID, when URC couldn't rent out their rooms, we were able to use those rooms, and after a while we thought, this is silly, we really should be paying. As part of an ongoing business cost, we should be paying something towards our rooms. So we're very grateful to URC. They enable us to rent those rooms. So I thank you, she says, thank you again to all who have given generously throughout the year. It's likely that we may see a fall in donations in the coming this financial year we're in, and maybe next year as well, as everybody starts to feel the pinch with rising food costs, energy costs. No doubt there'll be some job losses as well, I suspect, as we go through this year. But we're in a good position to continue what we're doing, what we've been called to do.